How's it going, everyone? Welcome to the third volume of the Renegade Pop Culture Mental Health Checkup. I'm your host, Mike, and as our motto says, "Need an escape? So do we." This is a podcast that we feel very strongly about, especially given everything that's going on in the U.S. this week. Joining me, as always, is Jacob.
Hello, everybody. How's it going?
And our two special guests for this episode, we have Evan DeGraff.
Hi there. My name's Evan. Nice. I'm kind of excited. I've been waiting for a platform. For any of you guys know me, I used to be on the PJ Campbell network. I was on a couple of things in the film space. I had to take a step back because school and stuff, but it's fun to get around every once in a while and say hi to the folks. So yeah, what's up?
Yeah, it's good. It's good to have you. And also joining us is Calu.
Hello, everyone. Very happy to be there. Looking forward to this.
So, Jacob, I'll start with you. How's your week been?
Stressful, to say the least. These past few days, my anxiety, which is already pretty bad, a lot of times, it was at its peak, man. It was just, my nerves were just racking this whole entire last few days. I was just imagining the worst possible scenario right now. Back then I was just going through all the things that could possibly go wrong yesterday. And fortunately, none of those bad predictions are likely to come true. I'm confident that Biden's going to win, and I feel a weight's been lifted off my shoulders.
Yeah, that's good. I am aware that election week is a stressful time for everyone, myself included. So I made the smart decision to take this week off from my day job because we're still in the pandemic, and I have not stopped working. I've been working at home, and I just came back to the office a couple weeks ago. So I just needed a time to just unwind, to forget about everything. So I figured this was the perfect week to, take off from work, not worry too much about what's going on with that, because I know the election. This election more than any others is like the one that matters. Now, Evan, you are a Florida resident. How's this week been for you?
So to paint a little bit of a bigger picture, I know I'm speaking in the capacity of what I'm about to say, but I am a digital strategist. I am the digital strategist over at College Democrats of America. It's our national organization for college Democrats. So to say it's been stressful would be underestimated. It's one of those things where it's out of your control. I casted my vote early. I'm not waiting in line. Screw that. So I casted my vote early. I did my part. I've talked to my friends. I've gotten friends who weren't going to vote to vote. So I've done what I can. But to amount to say that I live in Florida and it's not it is so stressful living in the state of Florida because your vote matters that much more. And look, there is a narrative. Yeah, every single vote matters. But if you live in California, or if you live in Indiana, or if you live in X, Y, and Z states, your vote matters differently. RB3, for example, I know he voted third party in California, but for good reason. California is going to go Joe Biden. But in Florida, it mattered. And talking to friends, some Latinx friends of mine, talking the way how their mom and dads were going to vote in Miami specifically, those three counties on the bottom, hearing that they were going to go Trump. You just had a sinking feeling things weren't going to go right, and then they didn't. So like I said, it's been stressful. I'm in Leon County in Tallahassee. We were going to go straight blue. We're probably one of the bluest districts in the country. But that's not what it was about. It was a bigger fight down south, and we clearly lost it. Yeah, it's stressful to say the least. I think that's the point I'm trying to get to, is like, my vote unfortunately mattered more than a lot of America's, and it did not go the way I needed it to, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think New York is kind of the same way. I got really scared when I looked at my county. I'm in Oneida County, and they mostly voted Trump. I'm glad though that all the other counties, like Syracuse, like near Syracuse, Albany,
yeah,
those were all Biden. So that's what kind of mattered the most. But just looking at my county alone had me freaked out for a while. And
in all fairness, and we'll jump into that later too, local politics matters so much. So much. Like in Leon County specifically, there are some fights. Like we had this guy on the thing called Neil Dunn on the ballot. Sorry, named Neil Dunn, who was going to win a congressional district, I think in state politics only, not in the House. And this guy was one of the worst people I've ever read on the ballot, and he got voted in because he ran unopposed. And it makes you wonder, things about gerrymandering and stuff. And then in your case, local politics, they do matter. So no matter what, like how everyone says, vote early, vote often. If you're not voting in every single race, you're only hurting yourself. That's it. Send tweet.
My vote mattered in Michigan too, because in Michigan, because I live in Rockford. It's near Grand Rapids, and it's a very red part of Michigan, unfortunately. I've noticed a lot of Trump signs around recently. There were even trucks that drive by flying Trump flags on the back, and so that's, there's a lot of things too. People putting up like vote for Trump signs on like those wooden signs on poles and whatever, and that was just, I don't even know how that was even legal to put a political sign like that on like it looked like it was public property, actually.
I saw a lot of that where I was voting too. For those who don't know, New York had early voting beginning on October 24th. So naturally, I jumped at the opportunity to vote early. The part that stressed me out was waiting in line for about 3 hours until I was able to cast my ballot. And as I alluded to, there's a lot of Trump supporters in my county. So throughout like as I was waiting in line, I saw a lot of people waving Trump banners. I didn't see as many Make America Great Again hats. But I did see a lot of people with like Trump stickers on their trucks, or like all the bumper stickers and everything. So yeah, like waiting in that line had me terrified.
The worst part about it is like that's the goal. You go in line and they want to strike fear, because that's the message that's sent to them for the last 4 years, is we're better than you. We're better than you, and this is what we stand for. Which clearly to me is obviously the wrong message. I'm all about peace, and like, what I'm saying, that's the wrong message to send. And a kind of random point, but also offset. I don't remember in my time, I've only been alive for 20 years, where political flags were a thing. I never heard of anyone raising an Obama flag or raising a Bush flag. Like, that wasn't normal to me. So my friend and I, who's libertarian but voting for Biden, where him and I were talking about, it's like Trump flags just don't make sense.
It's like a cult.
I'm not gonna call it a cult. I think there was a lot of Trump voters at the time who felt disenfranchised by the whole thing, and then when you start buying into something, you just really buy into it. So sociologically, So look, it's so something. I want to make sure we get Calu and sorry, but something that like a lot of people need to be careful of is disenfranchising voters, because we saw a lot of that, and it made me really upset for an assortment of reasons. But we'll get into that later. But yeah, let's be I would argue to be a little careful with that language. That's all.
So, Calu, let's hear an outsider's perspective. What does America look like to you? What's been going on recently? Like, what's your perspective on that?
I'm sorry, can you hear me good?
Yeah, we can hear you good.
Okay, sorry. I'm not too much into politics. Like even in, I'm French, so I mean, it's there is long history of politics there, and for me, I have I would say a simple mind. It's easy. It's the bad guys and the good guys. So for me, Trump is clearly the bad guy to beat.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is. I mean, he make no sense. He make no sense to anybody, and I really don't understand the people who support this guy. It's what you said. It was a cult. It's more for me. I think it's more ideology. Like you can be the biggest shit ever, and you can get away with it. All you need is support, and there's people behind you. You can do everything you want, and that's what Trump looks like for me.
There was a recent attack in France recently that involved something about a satirical newspaper, like something like a satirical image of Muhammad, was it?
Yeah.
And 3 people were murdered. So how has that affected you?
I mean, so the history of this is Charlie Hebdo. It's a French magazine that published Mohammed caricature in 2015, if I remember. And this, yeah, and so this is so it happened. So the commemoration happened not some time ago, and there was a guy trying to attack more people. So I don't want to put any. I think if I have not enough knowledge of something, I should not talk too much about. So as I didn't. I don't know who this guy is, if he's a real terrorist, I don't know. So, but someone tried to attack more people, so there is more. People are scared. People are scared, and there is more. There is more confinement in France. So I think the whole country is in panic, and I think it's and actually the whole world in panic. With the USA, with France, with terrorists everywhere, I don't remember the name of the president, but so there is like most of the Arabic country are actually burning flags, French flags, and Macron effigy, Macron figures, because Macron defends the liberty of freedom of speech, and so he didn't. Some people don't like it. Some I would say extremists, because I mean, it's freedom of speech. If you're hurt by something, it's maybe because you didn't understand it enough, or because I don't know. You shouldn't be hurt by someone making fun of something. But I understand it's a very complex and subtle subject.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, my cat.
My girlfriend, I have a girlfriend named Kim in France currently. She's been under lockdown because of this pandemic, and she herself is she's kind of scared by that terrorist that certain event. When you're that young and you're living in that country, and you feel it, like it always rubs off on you, and I do really feel for her.
Yeah, it shouldn't. I guess it's not very easy. Like if she's alone in this country, this climate, this hostile climate, and I guess she has fear for her own country. Actually, what's happening there, and I think it's not an easy solution for her. Easy situation.
Yeah. We celebrated our 2-year anniversary recently. Actually,
nice, congrats!
As a couple.
Let's go.
Yeah, it was nice. Instead of making me watch Lazy Town this time, she made me watch this really funny play from Britain where it's like Peter Pan Ruined or something, where it was like a stage play of Peter Pan, and just everything goes wrong, like happens, like, you know, people forget their lines, or, you know, they fall from like these wires that they put on their back so they can fly, you know, they fall down, like they get disconnected and they fall, and like the pirate ship, it goes into like different stages of the TV studio. It goes like the game show stage into the news stage. It's really funny stuff.
What is it? What did you say
I
it was?
think it's called Peter Pan Ruined or some. Hold on, it's
It kind of sounds like a play called like
Peter
the
Pan
show, like
Goes
the show,
Wrong
like
is what it's
yeah,
called.
the show that went wrong.
Yeah. There's an especially funny part where all the three kids, well, they're quote unquote kids, you know, they're actually adults. And so one of them's in the top bunk of the bed, and then that bunk falls on top of the one just below it. And and they try to move it up, and then it just causes the two top bunks to fall on the bottom one. It's just while they're all recording this. It's really funny.
So that, I guess that leads to a question for you guys in these stressful times. What sort of what has been your comfort food in terms of anything from like music to film to any sort of distraction from the real world?
I've been working, honestly. I have work and school, and I've managed to keep myself busy enough between the two where this isn't on the forefront. It is on the forefront of my mind. It's just it's when you're working 30 hours a week plus you're going to school full time on Zoom University, there's not much time for anything else. So kind of that, and then tamales. I love tamales, and Walmart has frozen tamales, and they're great.
Ooh, that sounds delicious.
Yes, they're fantastic.
Yummy, yummy.
My part, I'm bit like Evan. I have 2 jobs. So I work at for Uber as a customer service, and it's 40 hours a week. So I will put this away for my cat. Plastic bottles and cat are not good for podcast. And so I have this job, and I have my own CBD company that I started 2 years ago, actually, maybe 3 now, 2008. So yeah, 2 years ago in November. So yeah, almost 2 years anniversary. And it's well, you don't count your hours, so I'm pretty busy, and I have my wife pregnant, 4 months,
Nice.
5. So, and I have 2 cats, and there is COVID, so I stay a lot at my place, taking care of all of this, orders. So yeah, business meeting with my associates and stuff. So my mind is pretty busy too.
Nice. What's the name of your CBD company?
It's called Plant and Hemp. Yeah, Plant and Hemp. Yeah, it's nice actually. It's the story. Maybe I will come back to it later a bit. I don't know. But basically, I was working in a call center with in Lisbon. I went to Lisbon a bit randomly, and a colleague told me one day. I think in my mind, it screamed at me at work, saying, "Hey, Luca, you want to start CBD?" I didn't know what CBD was. Say yes. And since then, it's been a big adventure. And for now, yeah, it's we are not rich yet, but because I'm still working at Uber, but we're making good progress, and it's kind of it's kind of nice actually. It's when you look at it, like when you where you are now and what you achieved, it's good job. Yeah, not over, but good job.
It's good to hear.
Yeah, actually, I use CBD myself.
Yeah.
It helps refocus. I have ADHD and social anxiety, so it helps refocus myself and like slows my brain down. And I find it on a needs base versus like, you know, an everyday thing. Like whenever if I'm going hard for studying or if work gets super stressful or something like that, You can find me putting the thing under my tongue and taking that CBD quick.
So what do you use? You use a vape? You use a
No, literally just the oil, and I'll drop it under my
just
tongue.
oil. Good. Nice.
That was good. I have a moisturizer that I bought with some help from Calu. We've been friends for a couple of years actually. We met at a Facebook group for anxiety support.
True.
And if he was impressed by some of the posts that I've put on there, and we talk sometimes about what we've been going through. He gives me a lot of cool information about CBD, about hemp. I've actually helped him proofread a few articles on the subject.
Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a nice little. It's always I really value our friendship, Calu. I really do.
Thanks, man. Means a lot. I really appreciate, man.
I think I'm the only one here who hasn't had experience with CBD yet, but for like the past like 6 years or something, I've been I've gone to a couple like health practitioners who kind of deal with like holistic health. So I've been just taking a bunch of supplements, like supplements that kind of help me with keep my nerves and everything.
Yeah. I tried. I need to take some CBD gummies again. I really do, because I took some from a store here in Rockford, and it is just a miracle thing, man. And like as soon as I have one of those things, I'm just not tempted to have any negative thoughts at all. Like they just disappear like that. Unfortunately, I think they were closed during COVID, and which is a shame because I could have really used them, obviously. But this podcast, it's helped keep me going. It really has. The people that I've got to talk to, it's just nice, when you have friends to communicate with, like people who have the same interests as you.
I agree. 2020 would have been a much harder year if not for this space, and getting the chance to hang out with all of you. It helps. It helps not only because 2020 is the way that it is, but it helps to also just have something that you're passionate about to look forward to every week.
Very true. I really love my workplace, as weird as that sounds. The people are there are great. There's actually a career path there, which who knows, maybe one day I'll take a track on. But going into work today gives me like a sense of motivation, a sense of reason. I think that's the bigger word to use there. And yeah, it's kind of been almost a safe haven despite the stress and struggles that do come with work. It's exciting being at a workplace where they respect you and you respect them.
Yeah.
And sweet.
Yeah, especially I can imagine it being helpful for you now that you have a cause, that you have a drive to make things better.
Yeah.
I even you're 20 years old. I think the future, it lies in the hands of people your age.
I do too, and I think we can, if you guys want to, we can start kind of getting into the political theory that just happened not too long ago. I think if Democrats are smart, they begin to realize that there's a clear message that people like myself want to get behind. Take that message and run with it. We want to start having equal rights, but we also want to start having equity too, equal equity. Now's the time, bro. Now's the time to make a platform where everyone can actually live under an equal roof versus everyone having a different starting place. Just because I was born in Virginia in a pretty decent area doesn't mean that like I should have better chances in life than someone who was born I know, like, you get my idea. You know what I'm saying? Or like in a super rural part of even New York, my chances shouldn't be stronger even then, or in a worse part in New York. Like that's the kind of change that I'm looking for, and I think a lot of people my age are looking for, because we understand that like human life is precious, and I think we need to do everything we can to take care of it in the best way possible.
I could not agree more.
Yeah. Evan, I just want to ask, what YouTube channels, leftist YouTube channels, do you follow? If you do follow any?
I actually don't. I haven't had the time to. If I go for anything politically speaking, I'll watch my news with Philip DeFranco because it's short term. Generally, you'll just get the best information. I don't look for opinions. I'll try and do my best to form my own. I'll be honest, most of my opinions fall in line with Sanders, so I do follow him on Twitter. I'm not a big one into someone going into a microphone, which I guess what I'm doing right now, but someone going into a microphone and being like, this is what I believe in, and they use big words to try and describe something to make someone feel smaller, because that's what a lot of YouTubers try and do, and especially maybe I'm making a wrong comparison here, but especially like a lot of film YouTubers like to do this. They use big words to try and make themselves seem smarter. And I feel like leftist YouTubers probably have some similar of the capacity, just in the same way how right-wing YouTubers do too. They use big words to try and scare their audience and make them believe something that may or may not be true. But yeah, my beliefs probably fall in line with leftist beliefs.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, man, like it's that simple for me. It's like, why do I have to stress out about freaking healthcare after I'm 26 years old?
Yeah, and it's bullshit that people your generation have to rely on the government to provide them with decent health. I mean, what I mean by that is you're in such a precarious state that your future, like, who knows what lies ahead for you, like, because we still have a long way to go.
I think the main thing that a lot of us are starting to realize, and like I said, I'm not speaking in my capacity as a digital strategist for CJ. This is me speaking as Evan. I am very tired of some of the older Democrats who are currently in office and are refusing.
Pelosi.
Yeah, I can name names, but if you're following, you know who I'm talking about, who refuse to get COVID funding, who refuse to actually put forward any type of, freaking climate change deals, who refuse to put out any type of bills that mean something. We saw an example this year, and I didn't know if it was actually going to happen, but we saw an example this year of AOC and Ted Cruz actually working together. Now, don't get me wrong, Ted Cruz is pretty, like, I'm not a big fan of the guy at all, but the fact that we see her working with Ted Cruz, but we can't see Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi work with each other, even though considering Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell have much more in common than Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Ted Cruz. It just shows so much to me. I think I'm done. Like, I am personally done with the power party politics, and I'm gonna scream this into the void. Literally, Biden's probably gonna win the election, right? But what happened was bad. What happened was awful. We've lost seats in the House. We should have taken over the Senate, and we didn't. And we lost states. I say we, but I'm not, I'm saying we lost states we shouldn't have. And now for another 4 years, even with Biden as president, there are rights that are still on the line. There's so much work to do after January 2nd. 22nd, sorry. People are still going to be marching in the streets for good reason. People are still going to be asking for equal rights for great reasons. The work is not done. We are as far from done.
Rise in UBC, you think that's something that can be reached in the future?
So it's weird. It is really weird, actually. Florida passed their minimum wage bill, which needed 60% for it to pass. Yet Trump gets elected. Now, I'm no political expert here, but let me say this, and we talked about this before we got on. Biden performed tokenism. He went to Kissimmee, Florida, I want to say about a month and a half before the election. He played Despacito through a phone into a microphone. Now, if that's not a form of tokenism, I don't know what is. Now, let me tell you, do I actually think Florida's ready for progressive change? Yeah, actually, I do. Dude, they passed a minimum wage bill where the minimum wage can be $15 in 2026. That's not that far away from now.
Yeah.
So
Georgia, by
I
the
was
way,
gonna
Georgia,
say, yeah.
yeah, they legalized all drugs.
No, it's
personal use.
Washington.
Washington, it wasn't Georgia.
Yeah, it was Washington State.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're okay. But my point being is, why is this bill passing? Yet Joe Biden couldn't win Florida.
I don't.
It's a messaging thing. It's the messaging thing. If you're able to put a message behind a person a person behind a message versus a person, and then having to build a message behind that person, you're gonna be far more successful. The whole thing with Trump was like, hey, here's this hateful stuff. Let's buy into it. And they did. Because people are afraid of socialism and communism. I fucking like, if you're coming from Cuba and locations like that, I fucking get it. From my understanding, I've had family of some of my Cuban friends describe it to me. It wasn't great for them. And so whenever you hear that Joe Biden might be a socialist, it's wrong. But if you had, and maybe I'm wrong for saying this, but if you had someone who's a more progressive candidate come out and saying, this is what I believe, this is not socialistic, but this is just my platform, or this is the platform that myself and many others are behind, then maybe you might have far more success, because the platform of raising minimum wage was there and it got passed. So clearly the messaging is wrong. Clearly the people behind it are wrong. What is happening? That needs to be investigated, not like actually investigate, but like real research needs to be done into that.
Yeah, I'm looking at a Politico article right now. The headline is "The Rise of Gen Z Could Foretell the Fall of Trumpism." Do you agree with that?
What do you mean by that? Wait, can you repeat that and make it dumb for me?
Okay, so it says the byline is to deeply committed to diversity, social justice, and combating climate change. The youngest voters could be the engine that drives a new GOP. What that means is the GOP may have to tune themselves more into what Gen Zers wants if they want to stay alive after.
I saw something on TikTok. I've now deleted TikTok just because it took away so much of my time. Someone said if you had someone from the GOP who stood behind something like like universal healthcare, but boiled things down to local politics and said, we're going to let local politics fix a little bit of these things, and then like played a small government role, yet just a couple of big liberal ideas like, the Green New Deal and, a minimum wage, not minimum wage bill, sorry, but like universal healthcare. Yeah, the GOP could come back. You're actually giving a message where the people are feeling empowered in that case, where it's like, hey, we want to give you guys the resources so you guys are better off for the future. But we're also going to let you guys decide things on your own on a smaller scale, because that's how democracy and some people's ideologically work. I don't know if I completely agree with it, but if they were to move that way, shit.
The GOP, they still have a thing for small government, definitely, and that could be a way to ease them.
I think that could have changed if Trump got reelected. The GOP is a different figure for the rest of history. Yeah. I generally mean that, because they have been performing big government recently, big government. But I think things are changing. I think things have to change, because if they don't, that could be the end of the GOP. And I know I'm using big words and like things like that, but like generally think about it. If they had stayed that Trumpy, but without Trump, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
So hopefully they change. McConnell's already backed off of Trump. McConnell's like, count those damn votes. Yeah. You're already seeing members from the GOP pushing themselves away, because they're now like
Fox News even.
Yeah, dude. Apparently, Murdoch and Trump got on a phone call. Trump yelled at Murdoch for calling Arizona as it was, and Murdoch's like, "Nah, we're keeping it." Arizona got called. Suck it up.
How weird is that in 2020 Fox News is actually living up to their slogan, "Fair and Balanced."
And they also refused to post that Hunter Biden story, laptop story, just because there wasn't enough evidence for it.
Well, the GOP investigated itself too, and the GOP was like, "There's actually nothing there," which I find absolutely hysterical. That was their last minute election surprise, and it shot them in the foot, which I find hysterical.
Calu,
It looks like a TV show to me, you know, like it's a real TV show, man. It's no more politics. It's yeah. And that's why I don't look at TV show neither at politics. It makes no sense, and it's just bargaining between each other. I don't really get it. Of course, I mean, for you guys, you talk about medical care and stuff. In France, we have it, and I couldn't imagine us without having it. I think it's horrible that your country don't have it for people. If I understood well the Obamacare, like it's provided actually social kind of a social security for a lot of people, and I think it's mandatory for any kind of society who calls itself a society. And if your government doesn't provide a medical care to your people, what do you do? And so I guess, yeah, it's not for us. I mean, I think for me it looks like a joke. It looks like a comedy, a drama, but this is actually your fucking life. You're fighting for this, and that it's scary that it looks funny like this. It's scary, and it shouldn't be. It shouldn't look like this. It's not reasoned. It's I don't know. It looks horrible to me. It looks like a game, but it's there are people. I mean, there is life at stake, so shouldn't look like this.
Yeah, and you know, even on the COVID crisis itself too, I had COVID. I recovered fine. I did. I think I got it from work, unfortunately, but I caught COVID, which I am graciously fine now. I plan on going back in for a checkup just to make sure there's no long-term effects. But I feel great. Like I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life.
That must have been scary for you.
Dude, yeah, man. The funny part was on Sunday I felt like I was hungover because I got drunk as fuck on the Saturday night before. But on Sunday I felt hungover and I went into work and I came home, and then around like 9 o'clock I was feeling a little chilly. So I got myself a cup of warm tea and I tried going to bed around midnight. But as I was going to bed, I could feel my body temperature rise. I was like, oh, no. So I finally went to sleep. I woke up feeling bad, bro. So for the first 2 days, it's body aches and your body is hella warm. And then after that, it's a sore throat. Like it feels like someone shot your throat. It is absolutely brutal. But I recovered. I feel great. I feel lucky. Considering I know a couple of students here at FSU have sadly passed away. It's so unfortunate just how and I'm gonna blame the state of Florida on this one, just how recklessly the state of Florida has decided to play the pandemic. There are some things, you know what, they did okay, but when it comes in terms of like actually taking care of their people, reckless.
Mm-hmm. Very reckless.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of articles about just how irresponsible like the state of Florida has handled all of this.
Calu, you didn't have to put up with any of this bullshit, did you?
About what? About COVID?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. COVID is I did. My sister recently got COVID symptom, but she appeared to be negative. So maybe she got it in time. She got diagnostic. It got away, but no smell, nothing like this, and very headache. But the thing is, man, COVID is we don't understand it neither, because you have scientists. I mean, science is supposed to be something. I mean, you have science. It's supposed to be sure, you know, like, and you have scientists giving different opinion. No, mask is necessary, not necessary. I mean, what the hell? How can we get along on one thing, even on this? You know,
Yeah.
I mean, for sure. We need to protect. I mean, I wear a mask. My girlfriend is pregnant, so she is at risk too. So we are very careful. But I mean, it's crazy that you have people saying it's fake. Like, I can breathe. Like, I mean, where are we?
Yeah.
What is this society, guys?
Yeah, and Trump actually said, Joe Biden, he's going to listen to scientists. And like that was a negative trait against him.
Yeah, look, man, make no. And I wrote that Trump said he would have a vaccine for the election due date, no, something like this. I saw that on the newspaper on a French newspaper.
It's something he's
it.
claimed, but
yeah, of course he claimed everything.
There's no evidence of any sort of progress.
Of course, everything Trump says is just him saying. There is nothing behind it, of course, but it's always the president saying something.
Yeah.
Fucking sorry.
I'm scared by someone who's able to win that many people, bro, just for saying absolute bullshit.
Yeah, that's been not so much surprising, but disappointing. Looking at the numbers and seeing how close it is between Biden and Trump.
That was, yeah, I do. Maybe this is just a baby step. I think, the fact that Biden is basically the winner so far. Like, I think hopefully somewhere down the lane, people will start seeing Trump as the con man that he is. When we see under a new leader or something like who will hopefully improve things. People will adapt more practical beliefs and actually legitimate sources and such.
I think we're going to learn a lot. And I think the issue is we just generally don't understand. I don't think myself, I think a lot of people just generally don't understand the Trump base and kind of like the reasoning behind what they do. Trump spews a lot of hate. He spews a lot of ignorance, and he spews a lot of fear. So I think the issues we generally don't know. And I think we're going to get a reaction, while Biden is building his cabinet, about what really happened with the Trump voters and why did they go Trump and what makes them think the way they did and how is the Republican Party going to react? Because like you have to realize, all this is in a box at the end of the day, right? Biden won more votes, Trump didn't, but we're stuck in the system. I do believe, the Republican Party understands the system better than Democrats do. I think that's just an objective thing we have to look at. This race should not have been close as it was. Trump literally killed. I'm gonna be careful with my words here. Trump mishandled a pandemic, which led to the lives of so many others. And the facts that it was this close really needs like some research done. Was it a Biden thing? Was it a Clinton thing back in 2016? Or was it that Trump is just so populist that like he's able to touch with the base more clearly? And even though his words are different than his actions, but his words are his actions, what does all that mean? I think it's a lot deeper, sadly, than I think we're giving it credit for. It's just one of those things. People we're gonna look back and hopefully not make our mistakes again.
Well, let's dive into that. Let's unpack the last 4 years. So we can figure out the lesson that we should learn moving forward.
It's hard, right? Like the best way to say is it's just hard because you don't know. And I'm gonna be careful with my words about Clinton here. Clinton specifically had a lot of package. She was the wife of another president. She was a supporter of the war in Iran. She sent people over to Iran. There's footage of her saying it. She was with Cheney. She was with Bush, and that carried through to her cabinetcy under Obama when she was Secretary of State.
Wasn't there a charity in Haiti that kind of got screwed over by her? Like kind of that she and Bill, they kind of messed things up there.
I'm unsure. I'm not gonna speculate on that. I'm just gonna say I'm unsure. I do believe that there was a lot of package and there was a lot of shots fired at. And also the Democrats then also believe that election was a sure thing. You're going up against Donald Trump. There's no reason Clinton should win that, right? No reason for Trump to win that. But they did because, there wasn't energy being put into the Midwest states specifically. They felt like their voice wasn't heard. And when you don't give people a platform for their it's a voice to be heard, of course they're gonna lose. People want to be heard. I think it's as simple as that.
I mean, the good news is that now it seems like more people are being heard, just in the opposite direction. Though again, it shouldn't have been as close as it is.
Yeah, man, look at Florida, dude. And like in the world of Florida being a swing state, in the battleground state, it was a landslide in Florida, man. Like, that should not have been as wide as a margin as it was, yet here we are. Like, that's insane to me, dude. Clearly, and this is what I'm gonna get across. Clearly, Trump made voters feel empowered for the wrong reasons. 100%. Is he screwing over communities in Florida? 100%. But whatever message and the way how he's trying to communicate, it worked. He nearly made America stop. He nearly won the election based on Florida alone. But you know why? Because the DNC, I personally believe, like, they thought they had Florida in the basket, and clearly they didn't. And it shot them in the foot, and it's shooting a lot of America's rights in their foot as well.
Yeah, it was especially scary when I saw that Florida was turning red, because Bill Clinton back in '92, he was the last president to win without Florida.
Yeah, because it's so many votes. It is so many votes, and when I was sitting there with my friend, we both realized that Florida literally just might just be an anomaly. So, you know, Georgia still might go blue. Georgia, a lot of the analysts are predicting actually goes blue right now.
Like, what about Texas? Silver,
the guy, Texas is going to stay red.
Sorry guys, if I can comment with some French. So I'm on Le Monde, which is a French newspaper. They say that Georgia is more Republican than Democrats, with the 16 seats. Yeah, seats, right?
Let me look.
They vote for seats. They have seats now. Like, to get the absolute majority, you need 270. What?
Yeah, 270 votes. Yeah,
votes. Okay, from the big voters, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but apparently this newspaper is giving Biden the winner. Yeah.
So what's happening in Georgia is really weird. It's a little funny. It's going to be the wrong word. But they're predicting Biden to win Georgia still, because mail-in ballots in Atlanta. Yeah, that's kind of it.
Can I just say, Evan, the camera, it just kind of froze for me. You right when you said what Texas. Do you think? Can you just repeat again? Do you think there's hope in Texas becoming a blue state?
Nah, Texas is gonna stay red. Texas actually went worse than they had expected and they had predicted. They predicted Texas was gonna be, on all accounts, Texas was gonna be, a red, but not as red as it ended up. Which a lot of research is gonna have to go back into that. It was not supposed to be as bad as it was.
How do you think? Like, do you think it'd be smart for Joe Biden to run in 2024?
No.
Yeah.
I think the party has to move forward.
You should hand over to AOC or something.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, I'm not going to speak for her. I don't think she'd be running for president that quickly. I could be confused. We could have another Obama situation where you have a hotshot candidate in a smaller position. You know how, Obama's coming from mayor of Chicago, another hotshot candidate who just the American people grasp to. I think AOC, we're going to see closer to maybe, 2040 or something like that. And I could be wrong. I could be dead wrong. I think if things were to go the way they were, it'd probably go to Kamala Harris next, or someone like Cory Booker. I could see that. I'm a big Cory Booker fan, actually. That guy, I think, has a great way of talking and things like that. But I do believe he will pass it down, but someone who is closely minded to who he is, but a little bit more forward.
Yeah, I'm kind of feeling the same thing. I don't think we're going to see 2 terms of Biden if he is in fact the winner. Which by the time this podcast gets released, like we'll know for sure the results.
Yeah, and let's not cap here. Biden's old. Biden is very old. The way
77.
how
He might die.
the way how he campaigned the way he did is honestly a little admirable. I'm not the biggest Biden fan. You know, Joe Biden, he is here to protect what we have and not move forward, which I can understand a platform like that. But I really, in his office, if he's able to get something through for climate change, I call it a win. Like, if he's able to push at least one thing through, it's a win, man. And I have hope he does. I really do. But this presidency is about, for him, returning to normal. But our new normal has to change. It has to move forward. Or else, I still stand by the DNC could be shooting itself in the foot.
Well, let's just hope, their constituents, just hope they pressure them enough, like, hey, if you want to be reelected, you got to push for this stuff.
But guys, because I see a lot of hate from the Trump supporter and all, and are you afraid that if Joe Biden's win and there is a big resistance from the Trumper, even Trump will say it's a cheat. He says there is a ghost ballot and stuff like this. I mean, for me, it looks like USA can turn into civil war if Biden's win.
I think.
Yeah, that's scary.
So what I believe, in all fairness, I have started taking a little bit more care of my apartment and things like that. Like, I've turned out my lights outside. I've never turned off my lights outside. I've started locking my door. I live on the 4th floor of a complex where you have to walk up the stairs. No one's gonna come up to the 4th floor. But I've started locking my door. Like, I've started taking a little bit more closer, more careful precautions. Because, yeah, it is a little frightening. There are people with very valid reasons to be afraid right now, man. You have one base where they're fighting for their rights, not to be brutalized by the police, while you have another side that are literally making militias. There's a whole doc on this. We're just making militias just because they feel, I can't explain why. But they're making militias, man. So I get the fear. Things could go to head. People are preparing for it. I don't believe so. Hopefully not. I don't want to see anyone hurt. That's not what I believe. But seeing some actions that are taken in other European countries at the moment, it wouldn't shock me. So as I've urged everybody, and as I've urged myself as well, just take better care of yourself and be more aware of your surroundings. Yeah. And
that's kind of the point of this podcast too. We care about our audience. We want to make sure that everyone is safe, both physically, mentally, emotionally. So is there any message that you want to tell the audience to help quell some of their fears?
I specifically for my end, I think we all need to realize the fight's not done. Even after January 20th, the fight's not done. There's a lot that needs to be done. There's still so many people who are still fighting for their rights, literally fighting for their life every single day. And keep that in mind, but also take care of yourself. You should always come first in your progress. Like, I'm always doing, mental health checkups on myself, making sure that day to day I'm feeling okay. Obviously, some days are going to be better than worse, but figure out, if you need help, where are your resources? How can you use them? And how can you move forward with them? And also know your friends, have a base, know who your people are. Because something I've realized for myself, I have my friends, they know I have an anxiety, but they've learned how to live with it too. They've learned that it's just a part of him. And that's, we've had conversations about it, but they're yeah, they got it. And it's not a big deal for them. and it's kind of great. And same goes for one of my other roommates as well. And we all just kind of are like, yeah, it's kind of, we just kind of learn how to live with each other in that sense, and it's quite nice, to be honest.
Yeah. I think if this were a story, I think this would just be like looking at this with the perspective of a story. This is where, okay, we play the hand we're dealt. We just build upon that. Like this is just something. Okay, we can build this up into a bigger movement. Okay, we just have to just not give up. Really, we just have to just take what we have. We have a Democrat and the president, and we still have of Congress. We still have a Congress. We have the House still on our side, so we just gotta expand on that, and sooner or later we could have a legitimate blue wave sometime in the future, maybe in 2022.
Yeah.
I'm actually watching Watchmen, the TV show right now, and
Cool.
and it's actually very nice, and it's actually resonates for me. I see these racist people rising up, and these Trump supporters in the real life rising up too. I see a lot of similarities, and well, maybe Dr. Manhattan will rise up and make something happen. We never know. Let's hope for the better. But yeah, I have to keep hope. More about USA specifically, I guess fight is never over, huh? Even if Biden's win. So as I told, I'm not very aware of all the election, but I thought Sanders was well, it was a good candidate, and I was surprised to see him ejected.
Yeah.
But I guess he didn't. He wasn't. I heard he wasn't very appealing to the big fortunes because he wanted to cut them a lot. Yeah, to raise taxes a lot, and that's why he lost. No.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the donor class.
Donor class.
Yeah. Big pharma.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I guess you can't win an election if you don't grease some legs, huh? You need you need people behind you, huh? You need powerful people behind you.
It's unfortunate that he's had 2 chances, and neither one of those he was able to get on the ballot.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into Sanders here. I'll cry. But yeah, man, it's a sham. I think a sham's going to be the best word I'm going to use here. It's an absolute sham what happened to Sanders in both times, but we'll get into it for a different day.
Yeah. There's an anime that I'm watching now, and that Brock and I are reviewing for our show called Fresh Takes. It's called Gurren Lagann, and our 2 protagonists, or our main protagonist is he comes from a village suppressed underground, and his whole journey through the series is like persevering against all odds. And I think it's a perfect show to watch during everything that's going on this year, because it'll remind you that, like Evan said, the fight isn't over. No matter what obstacles are against you, you just have to keep pressing forward.
Yeah, exactly. Literally exactly. The fight's not done.
It'll never be done, really.
Yeah, it's unfortunately true.
Do you think Democrats were complacent when Obama won in 2012? They just kind of assumed, okay, well, that's that. We don't have to worry about anything.
It's hard to theorize on, especially when I wasn't as informed during that time. When you have Bernie Sanders winning an election within America that's still ready to move forward, a nomination, I should say, with an election that's, with the country that's ready to move forward, and you pick Hillary Clinton, someone who has a more conservative agenda than Obama did. Just put that in perspective. That's it. That's kind of all I have to say.
Okay. Well, yeah, this is just it's always scary, it's especially when you have anxiety as bad as I do. Like you just have to remind yourself that, things can happen. That's what I always tell myself, when it seems like things are going well. Just always be super alert of all the things that could possibly happen. It's what's known as defensive pessimism. Are you guys aware of that concept?
I've heard of that term, yes.
Yeah, it's basically you just plan for, like, when you're performing a task or whatever, or there's something that's big coming up in your life. It's good to stand guard. You know what? It's good to, pessimism isn't always something you have to run away from. Anxiety, it can be embraced, because I'm always anxious before we start our podcasts that something would go wrong. And I think I think I have that to think, is that we have a mostly pretty solid run, at least I have, of good podcasts. So yeah, I do think it is possible to use that to your advantage.
Yeah, no, trust me, I have experienced similar anxiety anytime I'm on camera, but one thing that helps is to manage that sort of like all of those pessimistic thoughts is just to appreciate every small victory. Like even something as monotonous as like I had a good breakfast this morning, or or I don't know.
I got a raise at work.
Yeah,
Nice.
there you go.
Good job, man.
Yep. That's what I did a couple of weeks ago when I passed an evaluation.
Yeah, I got a
Nice.
raise like back in September when my hours shifted from like 7.5 to a full 8 hours a week.
Nice.
And Kayla, you should count your blessings every time that your girlfriend is still healthy, and as well as the baby.
Yeah, man. Enjoy. I mean, yeah, it's important to enjoy every moment, every second that is fullest. Yeah, I have well, you can't see on camera and the podcast you can't see, but trust me, I have some tattoo, some confetti tattoos on some part of my bodies to remind me to enjoy the present. Like it's important to, like, right now we like the fight is never over, but life is about to live in the present. If you live in the past, if you can't live in the past, you have to live now, and try to get the best of each moment, to even a bad experience. If while you survive it, you have to learn something from it and move forward. And yeah,
that's kind of a negative trait about anxiety, is that you're always looking either backwards or forwards, and I need to learn how to focus on what's around me more, because the past has already been done and the future hasn't been written yet, and the future is the only time where you can make a difference, so you just have to take it for all it's worth.
Well, I have two helps for this. Well, meditation. Well, it's basic, but it works if you get into it. If you actually try stuff like this, it can help. And since I have my two cats, I can see that they actually live in the present. They don't do plans. They just do live now. Yeah. And if you just look at them, well, you can actually learn a lot, and that's quite pleasant.
You make me wish I was a cat.
But you can be a cat. You can be a furry cat.
Evan, you got any small victories that you're willing to celebrate?
The election. I'm not even gonna level. I think that my current issue, and maybe it's fine. Everything is so big right now. It's hard to find. Sorry, excuse me. It's hard to find small things to be excited for when literally everything's on the line. Every day I'm able to go to bed at a decent hour is a success. Every day, I get my assignments done early is a success. You know, those are the small victories, but it's hard to even focus or celebrate the small victories when there's so much more on the line, unfortunately.
Somewhere down the line, you will get a big victory, though.
Oh, I mean, 100%. Don't get me wrong. Evan, I when I ball out, I'll ball out. Don't you worry. Just you wait. When I come out to play. Mike knows that.
Oh yeah. So any final thoughts before we wrap this one up?
No, guys, just take care of yourselves, man. As the famous Jimmy Buffett once said, there's no free ride in this carnival world.
About me, no, I have to keep on smiling. But this is the end? Is this the end? Did I understand well? You say wrap it up. You said we are over. Are we over?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it feels like we're kind of winding down.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, for my part, I will say to remember that we are never alone. Like I had some rough days these past days. Like November is not a good period for me, and I've been very angry. I've been sad. I've been through a lot of emotions. But first I think I needed to pass through these emotions, to be angry, to scream, to yell, to have some tears. I had to express, and but at the after the storm, there is actually the shiny light and the rainbow, and I think that's life. Life is a big roller coaster. There's a lot of emotions, but if we still have hope, if we keep hope, if we know that we are not alone, if we know that everything is possible, because actually I believe that everything is possible, I think we can go through everything. But we first, the biggest thing is the intention. We have to get the right intention into the right place. And if you have the intention, if you have the will, I think we'll pass through every storms, even the Trump storms.
Yeah. There's not much more I can add. It's just that, don't run away from your anxiety. All right. Acknowledge that it's there. I honestly think it is better if you just live with your anxiety, like I've managed to do, and just take deep breaths and, just do what makes you happy, but, never, just never try to suppress anxiety. By all means, look for ways to escape, but, those negative thoughts will never leave just because you want them to. Just use them to your advantage. You don't have to act like you don't have to treat them as if there's something to just ignore or just leave, or anxiety, it's built into our human evolution, unfortunately. It's just something that we have to live with. But as long as you push through, then you're gonna be okay.
It reminds me something I read. It's like so depression and this kind of anxiety is your dark side, and you don't have to, and you shouldn't go away or repulse its dark side, but you should understand it and befriend with it. Quote. I mean, to understand is a key. Is why like this, what does it come from, and you'll get much better solution and results rather than going away from trying to escape from it.
Yeah, as Mr. Rogers says, if you can mention it, you can manage it. And like we've all made perfectly clear, you are not alone. We're all going through some forms of anxiety or depression, but just know that you never have to face this battle alone, and that's what we're here for. If we helped you provide some sort of escape, then I think we've done our job. And with that, I thank you guys for joining me on this installment of the Mental Health Podcast. Before we head out, Evan, where can people find you online?
Yeah, man. Y'all find me online at Evan DeGraff Live on Twitter. That's just kind of where I tweet, and you guys can find out, more about if I'm popping up anywhere and things like that over yonder. It'll be exciting. I'm every single day more things are happening. I tweet more things about it. I'll give a little tease. We're looking to start. Oh, this was in the newsletter. We're looking to start a podcast with CDA. I can talk about this, actually. We're doing a podcast with College Democrats of America, and I am going to be working my damnedest to make sure it is as cool as possible.
Awesome.
Hopefully,
Caleb?
we might have some guests from there hop on here as well. We can
Potentially.
we can actually mix and match a little bit.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Calu, where can people find you?
You can find us on Facebook, Plant and Hemp. We have our website, plantandhemp.com. I think we have a YouTube channel. We have a Twitter, but I'm not. I was supposed to be. I'm supposed to be less now, but the social media. But I have. My personal thoughts is like social media are kind of perversing the world. It's not. It's a tool, of course, but it's not. It's not used to a great or good actually. So I'm not very much into the social media, but I'm not me. I'm supposed to be my brand, so so I should be more active. But yeah, we're on Instagram and all this stuff. But unfortunately, for now, we're not serving USA because of the law. So if you're from Europe, you're welcome to test our product. Plantandhemp.com, baby.
And Jacob?
You can find me on Facebook. I'm Jacob Krehbiel, Krehbiel. I'm also on Twitter with the same name, and you can find me on the Renegade Pop Culture Facebook group.
And you guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Captain K42. Check out all my quick thought reviews on letterboxd.com/Coach K42. Find me in all the various Facebook groups, just at my name. Don't forget to check out Renegade Pop Culture on Facebook and Twitter at Ren Pop Culture. Listen to all our podcasts on Anchor, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you listen. Last but not least, check out renegadepopculture.com. Need an escape? So do we. That'll be it for this installment of the Mental Health Podcast. We will catch you guys later. Peace out.
Bye.